Hey, welcome back to Drive Time. I am your host, Craig Pasta Jardula, and we do it live, bringing you all the hot takes, headlines, and unfiltered opinions that matter most. Whether you're stuck in traffic, cruising to work, or just chilling at home, we want to hear from you. Today's topics are all about the big stories making waves, but we're not just here to talk at you. We want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your take on everything from the latest political debates to the everyday challenges we face. Remember, whether you're on the left, the right, or somewhere in between, we welcome all points of view. So grab that hands-free device, dial us up, and let's dive into the conversation. What's on your mind? It's Drive Time. Call in now. Everybody, it is Drive Time. Good morning. I am your host, of course, Craig Pasta Jardula, along with me, Andrew Zigman from the Action for Assange peeps, and just good old fella. How you doing out there, Andrew?
Oh, I'm good. How are you this morning, buddy?
I'm slow moving, but I'm up. Thank God I have a great other co-host.
I was going to say a great hair day, man. You're looking fly today, buddy.
Be quiet, Andrew. Special love to Sleepy J. How you doing, Sleepy J?
I'm all right.
He's moving.
I'll be back in like 3 minutes. I got to go blow my nose like 30 times.
You're fine. No, I got woken up early by my cat. He got the Zoomies at like 5:30 this morning and was just on a tear through the house for an hour.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was fun. I was a trampoline.
Ladies and gentlemen, get yourself hydrated. This is, of course, for you guys, the first sip of coffee of the day. Here we go. It's hot. It's good. It's beautiful, though. Guys, remember, this is a call-in show. You can call in 561-247-2721. That's 561-247-2721. He sounds a little bit sleepy himself. I am a little bit sleepy. But I'm going to be waking up in 2 seconds now that coffee's gone through. Andrew, anything interesting that you want to talk about out there that's catching your mind? Flock cameras going crazy. I mean, it looks like these people are going into these city councils, which is awesome. Speaking out against flock.
Every person I follow from every side of the political spectrum that I've like built up over the last, I don't know, like 25, probably not 25 years, but like 20 years of being on YouTube are all against flock. Like no matter who it is, no matter what like ideology they espouse, they are just, everyone is just anti-flock.
Yeah,
and
it is heartwarming.
But what I'm worried about, and we've seen it happen in some places, and it's even a meme, is replacing flock with Axon.
Yes,
right, because Trump's invested in Axon. Trump's not invested in flock.
Yes,
right. So maybe there's some kind of like deep internet conspiracy about getting everybody to hate this one company so that way it can be shut off and switched to the Trump cameras.
Yes. Well, let me say this much. Now, Flock is a company. It is one of the companies. You're right. People are there's another company, Axon, AXXON, I believe it is, right? That's a little bit more inconspicuous about where they put their cameras and whatnot. But the word flock has kind of taken on a meaning, and it's like that whole thing I talked about, like when I said, do you have a Q-tip? It's not really a Q-tip. It's a cotton swab, but people call it a Q-tip. People call those cameras flock cameras. So they understand. So even if it's another company like Axon, the mentality is there to push back against it, right? So
no, I think it's reassuring at least. Like at least that like people are finally realizing like this probably shouldn't be normal.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's the first time that there's been a consensus about something on the internet in a really, really long time.
Data centers too, right?
Yeah. Because even people still are like, oh, COVID was great. Like we took the boobity baps and wore our masks but there's nobody that's like flock cameras are great. So it's at least a little benefit.
Those voices out there that were very small are even smaller now. The ones that were saying, well, if you're doing nothing wrong, you got nothing to worry about. Oh, my Lord. It is heartwarming across the board to see people saying no to the flock cameras and no to the data centers. So I guess there could be some uniting. I'd like to go out, maybe do a couple events and start talking to people. different ideologies, get them to talk to each other over this one. Because when they're standing together in the city council, that's when, you're more open to listen to the other person's opinion too, as well. Because now you're fighting the fight together.
Yep. And
Yep.
next time I do the show, I'll be reporting live from Columbus. I'm moving down there for the next couple of years.
Columbus, Ohio?
Yep.
Well, where do you live right now?
I live just outside of Cleveland.
Okay. How far is it that you're moving, like
Like-
drive-wise?
Like 2 hours.
Any
2 hours is
particular
probably
reason?
the limit. My kid's school.
Nice.
There's
Being a good dad.
I'm trying, man. It's not easy.
So, did you hear about this other site now? Have you been flocked? And it allows you. Let me show you this real quickly. It allows you to track if you've been flocked or not. If you've been on a flock camera, I guess.
Okay. I'm gonna look mine up real quick.
Look at this right here. Add to the stage. Have you been flocked? Each dot is the first time an agency, typically a police department, was seen running or search on a flock-based network. Based on published audit logs, the average of 30 cameras per agency. Wow. And you can just check it out. Have you been flocked? Are you checking yours out?
Yeah, I'm looking at mine right now.
Have you been flocked?
Let's see. No searches found in the last 48 days. Okay. Maybe going to that website and putting your license plate in is gonna like have them flock you, like puts you
Jesus.
up on a list.
I mean,
to
that's
see.
fair. That's fair.
They're like, oh, we should be looking at this guy. He wants to know what we're looking at.
Exactly. You've been flocked now.
No, I actually make it a point. So, like, I know not everyone can do this in every area that they live in because some places cameras are just way too dense to avoid anything. But I literally make it a point in my life to avoid as many cameras as possible. Because I have a pretty good ability to like make and hold a mental map. So I know where like the majority of them are, and I just route accordingly. Like I'll go through parking lots instead of intersections, because I was one of those people that like I hate traffic lights to begin with. So I would drive weird just to avoid having to stop. So for me, it was like, okay, well, we're just going to take this pattern of behavior and apply it to just avoiding cameras instead and just suck up having to stop at a red light.
Interesting, Mr. Andrew. There should be some. I mean, shouldn't there be some type of? We should get some national law. I know that Massey was talking about writing something like a national law, but they didn't really ask us if they can put this stuff up, right? So they just put this shit up, and I think there should be
Private
something.
company.
Yeah,
That's how they get away with that shit.
yeah. Contracted by the police station, by your local police station. So yeah, I hear you.
Right out of the general budget, not even a line item, but just police expenditure.
Really? Is that how they hide it half the time?
Yeah, 100%. How they hide all kinds of shit that they do.
Jeez.
Because they also have I don't know if you notice them, but they don't even have to have cameras. They can just have like the RF scanners that they put up on lights to where it's just like this big white rectangle that they slap onto a telephone pole that just tries to collect the data of the people going through there. Like if they're sensitive enough, they can even pick up your credit card. But like if you have the RF signals in your phone, or if you have like a newer car that emits a radio frequency, or even like one of those easy passes that you get for the turnpikes, they have scanners that can just detect those too.
And they're finding these things just like everywhere, like pointed at like there's one where it's pointed at a swimming pool in Texas. They're like, why is this flock camera? I mean, it's on the street, but it's next to a swimming pool, and it's pointed in that direction.
I love the one in Michigan that was pointed at a dispensary. So the dispensary put a sign up that says no flock zone in front of it.
Wow.
That one always makes me smile.
Crazy. It's all over the interwebs too, so there's a big push against it.
Well, it's kind of, we're just gonna see how the humans of the internet compare versus the technocrats, right? Because like
Yes.
there's no defense for it. There's no one that supports it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everyone from like Philip DeFranco to Tucker Carlson hate this shit, but
Good.
they just let it happen. And even like people that just make random videos are now making videos about it too. Like people that just are completely apolitical on every other issue are like, hey, here's a 2-hour documentary about Flock, you know?
Well, I
I
have
don't
the
think we
website
should.
Flock These Nuts.
We gotta do something with it.
I just want to put up at least city council meetings, like because those are always usually online. They're all over the internet. So I'd like at least a hub, and I got a couple different designs for shirts and bumper stickers. So
This is the time, man. I would launch it for real.
yeah, I know.
Even if
I
it just
got to.
takes you to a site to like buy shirts and hoodies and shit. You know what I mean?
I need that. We need that in our lives. A hoodie that says
I
Flock
haven't I
These
haven't
Nuts.
gotten a new shirt in a long time because I haven't gone to any like rallies or events or nothing. So I'm in need.
Do you still have a F censorship shirt?
I
Fuck
I, ne- I
censorship.
never got a fuck censorship shirt, but I do have the other shirts from that time,
All right, good.
like like
What
our
is it? The
Culver
combo couch
Strip
shirt or something?
Lounge and the damn wars and all those.
Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. Those are fun shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you want to call in, it's Friday, 561-247-2721. That number is 561-247-2721. I'm here hanging out with Andrew Ziegman. Have you been paying attention to the war?
Oh, what happened? Did we win yet again?
Well, Donald Trump
60th
says
time.
we control the Strait of Hormuz 100%.
But it's only sort of open, he said.
Have
I'm
you
so
have you
sick of
seen though, for real though, Andrew? The Larry Johnson, I think, put a report on this. The aircraft carrier is like they're just running out of water, running out of coffee. Situations are bad. People like, what's going on? They've been out hanging around for like 9 months or something, and it
Yeah.
is just
No,
getting
I
real
I had
bad.
I had a buddy that worked on the Carl Vincent. He was like the maintenance guys. I don't remember, they have like some special word for it, but he was a maintenance dude on the Carl Vincent. And he was like, these ships aren't designed to do what people think they are. Like like the plumbing systems are so sensitive that like you could literally throw a t-shirt in them and you can shut down a whole ship for hours.
Yeah,
And that was something that had happened. I think it was the Gerald Ford
I think it did
um
happen on the Joe.
early
Yeah,
on.
because they have vacuum toilets because they're idiots.
Yeah, they have vacuum toilets and those things are horribly unreliable to begin with. But you
All right, we got
literally
a call
throw a
coming in.
piece of clothing down the toilet and flush it, and you shut the entire sewage system for the ship down until they can find that shirt in a pipe.
Well, they did that. Let's
Yeah.
get to the caller. Caller,
I'm on
thank
hold.
you for calling in. Who
Oh.
are you? Where are you calling from?
My name is Don. I'm calling from Provincetown, Massachusetts.
I don't know any Don from Provincetown, Massachusetts. I know a Don from Ossining, but
Yeah, he changed his name last Saturday, and he's going to probably change it back Sunday or thereabouts.
wow. Well, Don,
What's up?
thanks for calling on in.
What's up?
What's up with you, buddy? How
So-
you doing, Don DeBar?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. You know, trying to wake up
Good,
here. It's
good,
the
good,
morning. You know,
Yeah, me too.
had
Got
some
the
vino
old
last night.
caffeine jolt here. Yeah. hmm So,
Do you want to talk
the
about
reason
something
I
in
called
particular, Don?
what you were talking about, the flock cameras, all these different things, they're tools designed by bad people to do bad stuff to us.
Yes.
If we deal with the tools, that's one thing, but it ain't going to solve the problem. A couple people pointed that out here, like, well, what about the flying robot birds and whatever the frig else they come up with to throw at us? But the real problem is the people that design this for the purposes that they're doing it. If we don't deal with them,
Yes.
they're going to keep throwing new shit at us and overwhelm us, as they've practically done already.
Yes. I think I'm glad you're calling in and making that point. That is the key point. That's what I'm saying. We need some type of a law whether it be a different company, how they use them. We need something that's going to protect our Fourth Amendment rights and make sure that they can't just throw something else up there to surveillance, to survey us.
Flock saying they want to do.
I don't think the law is going to cut it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think changing the law is going to be the answer either. Although it might be a tool in our arsenal, because again, the same people. First of all, the laws that govern elections, for example, you're familiar with those, and you know how they play out in the real world.
Yeah.
The people who are enacting these laws are doing so according to either their own or the agenda of people who put them in office. And so if they write a law to outlaw these things in one way or another, it's going to be opening a door to something else that maybe is even worse, or maybe is as bad and cheaper, or whatever. We got to deal with the source of the problem. I don't know how we do it, but we got to keep our eye on that, because if we don't do that, everything else we do is really shit show.
Well, I think one way, and this is kind of probably extreme in a lot of people's opinions, but I think holding these people on like for treason charges, right? Because treason's the only crime outlined in the Constitution of the United States. So I think making citizens arrests for treasons and paneling citizens grand juries and creating a parallel legal system essentially is like the only way, right? Because like look at Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci, right? The people literally poisoned the entire fucking planet. And like Palantir, they brag about like, oh, we got 4 billion people in our system. There's only 7 on the planet. That's 3 billion more to go, So it's I think it's a little bit like laws are great, but you have to stop it at the source, like you're saying. Like these people have to be removed from these positions of power, and the ability to pay for these things also needs to be removed, right? Like you can't have your local police department just saying, hey, like no one's going to want this, so we're just going to skip the city council vote.
Yeah, look, there's historical precedents. There's the historical precedent in Russia, for example, of the problem with the monarchy there, which vanished from the earth into smoke. There's the problem of the Batista government in Cuba that resulted in him becoming a permanent resident, now really permanent resident of Miami. There was the problem of the Kuomintang in China, and the solution to that was to remove that government to the small island of Formosa. We got to find these people somehow, because they don't wear name tags, unfortunately, or parade around the streets very often. And the solution used to be, but Pasta's heard me say this a million times, we used to know where the king was. He was in the castle. When things were no good, we went down the castle, dragged his ass out, opened his fucking body up, or cut off his head or whatever. Problem solved for the near term. I mean, we need something maybe not that physically extreme, but that effective, or we're going to keep having these problems with, by the way, more and better technology in the hands of these people.
Yeah. Like people should be afraid to develop these technologies, right? Because like the funding's there through Intel and all that, but like these people should literally have the fear of God in them of being like, yeah, let's just put a camera on every corner, At like,
they can feel like Galileo,
not even at the corporate level, but at like the local level. Like it should be our politicians here in local office that are like, no, this is bad. But you have places like, I think it's Austin, Texas, where you had one of the like police commissioners or the police chief retire and then go work for Flock. And that's like one of the most dense areas that adopted Flock first. So it's the same bullshit you see at the federal level with like the revolving door between military contractors and the Pentagon happening in police departments with these private security firms.
That's very interesting. That it happened in Austin.
Good.
But that it happened in Austin is interesting. I'm sorry.
It may
what happened in Austin?
I may not have the city right, but it was one of those like super Flock Texas cities.
Well, if it is Austin, what I was going to say is that, Austin has the largest concentration of college students in the country, for example. So you would think that there would be the biggest pushback to that. If that's where, I don't know where it was. I thought of Austin when you said it.
I'll look it up real quick.
John, What were your
Yeah,
thoughts on
yeah.
that great press secretary that's calling it quits?
I saw that
Caroline
she's
Levitt.
leaving, but I didn't. I saw that she's leaving, but I haven't paid any attention to it yet. I haven't update us because I'm not familiar with what actually happened. I saw she quit.
Yeah. It's interesting because she doesn't matter as much as like the last couple press secretaries for Joe Biden. You wouldn't see him for a couple of days and be like, is he alive? Is he going on? Donald Trump doesn't shut the fuck up. So it's like you get more information following Truth Social that you do a White House press conference. You know what I'm saying?
Can you imagine being in that field, that a PR person basically, and then being Trump's PR person for a while, and then trying to go back into the world and have anybody believe you? I mean, you couldn't sell fucking cornflakes after that with this joker. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I mean, these assholes keep failing up, it seems. I don't know what it is. It's like they're terrible, but they get another job, especially in the Democratic Party. No matter how bad they are, they seem to just get a better job every single time.
Yeah,
now that press
you got Biden walking around acting like a respectable dude. I'm like, you're a fucking drug addict, dude. Like, why are they rehabilitating this guy? Like, it's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't.
Anyway, I wanted to just sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm going to let the line go. I just wanted to make that point about making sure you go to the source of the problem behind the cameras and all the other shit that they're throwing at us.
We will do that. And thank you for calling us from Providence, Mass. Did you look at the whole Donald Trump thing with the assassination attempt, or I just when he hit it, I can't even get myself into it. I just like, come on, I don't even want to pay attention to this shit. They're gonna sell.
I don't believe any of it.
Honestly, who cares? That the whole thing is a crock of shit. That his whole campaign and presidency are obviously just a shit show. This is the best they could come up with for everybody hates what the hell is going on. They got no money. Their kids are a fucking mess. They get nothing but bullshit from every source. Every official mouth that opens spews nonsense, crap, and delusion. And so they have an oppositional predisposition, let's put it, okay? And so they had to find somebody, but this is the biggest this makes the entire concept of opposition distasteful. Because if you think of this character or this presidency, with all the things that he promised to do and all the things he actually did and is doing, it makes you say, you know what, I'm just going to conform, because otherwise I'm going to end up with a clown like this. That's what basically the people supporting the Democratic Party right now, that's their mindset. It's either this or Trump. And of course, that's not where the real world is. The real world is if you do all of that shit. Who was it that said, Julius Nyerere said, the Americans are a one-party dictatorship, but with typical American extravagance, they use two parties to accomplish it.
Yeah.
That's one side, those guys. We are the other side, and we got to start having a voice and a program. Bread, land, peace, something like that. It worked before. Freedom. Anyway, peace out.
Did you really quickly, Don, did you hang up? Did you see that Sam Husseini announced his run for president? For presidency?
Yes.
Congress?
I sent them a note immediately, and I said, I don't have much money, but I'm glad to do as much work as you want on your campaign. Tell me what you want.
It seems excited. He is running as a Green. I know his campaign manager, Jason Call. It's going to be interesting because Sam is not like the typical Green, right? So, I mean, we'll see how that works out. This is going to be a lot of fun, though. I like this campaign video right out of the gate. I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's cool too. I liked him. I've been watching him at press conferences for years, giving them the business, man. I always liked watching that. He did it gently, a little bit like somewhat wry, sense of humor. But once every now and then he has to come in for the kill. He's like Matt Lee with balls,
Yeah, that's a good analogy, buddy.
Yeah.
Do you think Count Binface has a chance to beat Nigel Farage over in the UK? Have you been following that at all?
No, first, I don't know because as much I follow what I can follow in the British media, and I watch the meetings once in a while on the Parliament meetings on it's actually Commons, I guess, that they broadcast usually.
Well, if you want a good
I'm
laugh,
really ignorant.
if you want a really good laugh, like just like a political pick me up, look up Count Binface. Because it's basically the British version of Vermin Supreme, but he's probably he has a real chance of beating the prime minister in an election this year. So it's just because there's no one else running against him, and Nigel Farage has literally like resigned and is rerunning for office again. So it's just a hilarious situation.
Are they in the same party?
No, they're in. Count Binface is just like an internet political comedian. It would be like
no shit.
Yeah, and there's no one else running except Nigel Farage and Count Binface.
I get it.
In his district, so it's just
like
great.
Mickey Mouse on a write-in ballot.
Yeah. The dude literally pretends to be an alien. He wears a trash can on his head. Like it's just fun. It's great.
Perfect.
We got to get a clip. We got to check it out. Tom, go enjoy your vacation, will you?
It'd be fun to watch King Charles, swear that guy in as prime minister with the garbage can on his fucking head.
Yeah, for real, it would be hilarious.
All right, peace, you guys.
Love you,
Have a
buddy.
good time.
You got it.
Love you too. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
So this is Sam Husseini. Have you seen this yet?
Mm-mm.
All right, so I'm interested to hear what the crowd has to say. I didn't see Dave from Melbourne up yet. Is Snorky around? I saw Stace, right? Stacey's there, that's for sure.
We've got a Snorky coming in on the phone here.
We have a Snork coming in on the phone. Let me hear it.
He's here.
Yes. Is
Snork.
my phone working?
Good morning, friend.
Professor.
I wanted to go back to the flock because when I'm on hold, I can't hear what you guys are. So you might be off another topic by now. But
Nope,
we just got a flock.
Flocking crazy here.
So I'm out in nowhere, right? They put a flock camera, but it's pointed right at this guy's house. Well, it's on the road that goes to out of town. So I guess it's a way for them to tell who's leaving. But back from the data center point, now I can't confirm this, but data points are useful for subqueries that you put out. So if you start building a database, you start to say, the person is here. The person went here at this time. Well, if I start getting a bunch of those records, I can start saying the person tends to leave at this time of the morning. Or I can start to say that, this person's not at home. Now, this completely conspiracy theory, but if you call somebody on a cell phone, like with a scam call, so like if you get the same scam call every day, it's like, why do the scammers keep calling me constantly? Are they really calling me for that? Or are they getting paid to get a data point? So if I get a call on my cell phone and it'll tell me I was at this exact location within a certain amount of area, I can then clue that back to the data I've got from the flock camera, clue that back to other purchasing data I've got from whatever. And these subqueries start building up profiles of people. So while we're talking about the collection of data, we also have the usage of the data. So, I get these calls all day. There's no way they're trying to just scam me. It's like the scammers are getting paid to make a record. Now, it might sound far-fetched, but if you guys might have noticed that in the past, a lot of people were being paid by a certain country to make statements about them. Other podcasters were making like $7,500 per podcast if they mentioned that country in a playful or a nice manner. And so that's Does that sound too far fetched?
No, so I worked in the cell phone industry for a while, like on the sales end of things. And one of the things that we actually learned was that part of what the scam calls are is literally to see if you answer the phone, right? Like just to even know, like, is this person available at this time of day? And that's just information that's just available to be purchased from these like information aggregators. So thinking that it's okay, well, we're not only gonna see if they're available to answer, but we're just gonna see where their phone's at that time and ping it off a tower. So I don't think that that's like an absurd thought at all.
I mean, well,
and that ping also gives location.
Mm-hmm.
So you can calibrate, okay, which block cameras do I put on? Which ones do I put on my question?
well, I think it's good that these corporations are not wasting their time, right? Like they're making use out of like dead air and hung up phone calls and whatnot. And, I mean, you got to tip your hat to them, right? At least they're being productive.
Doing something, staying
Doing
off the
something.
streets.
Hey, did you get anybody to buy this
Well-
stupid rain jacket? No, but I got, a hang up at this guy. This guy answered the phone at that time. At least we can create more track and trace systems out of nowhere. And I think that's productive. That's USA, baby. That's how we
I
do
mean,
it.
I just want a brief reminder that the Snowden stuff that came out. I mean, it's describing basically what they were doing on the down low, but now they're just doing it out in the open.
Yeah.
That's why they need them fucking data centers.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think vehicle registrations shouldn't and license plates shouldn't exist, right? Like, I don't think that the state should have that power to track you. I think insurance companies will probably have some reasonable metric, but once you purchase a vehicle, you shouldn't have to be put into a federal or statewide database for it. It should just be your private property. You know what I mean? But then you couldn't tax people to go in every year and pay $150 to get a new sticker.
You don't own that shit anymore. If they're gonna put kill switches in there, you don't own that no more. You're renting that car at that point, in my opinion.
Right?
Well,
Like-
I've always paid.
There we go.
Think all the way back to
Paid
Obama when he
$500.
did cash for clunkers, right? Like over a decade ago, probably almost like 15 years ago at this point, where the cash for clunkers program came in, where you could literally go and get your perfectly well functioning used vehicle completely destroyed, have the engine melted with acid, and then get a brand new car, right? And that at the time destroyed the used car market. But no one ever had the thought like, hey, maybe this is setting up for a time where you're going to have a kill switch installed. Because back then, no one really pushed back against it. Everyone was just like, oh, this is super cool. We can go get a cheap new car.
What also happened when that ended? Is that when 1-800 Cars for Kids came out, Ed?
I was just thinking about that song.
It's for the children.
1-800-7 cars for kids.
The Mossad front.
Yeah, it's you can pretty much easily get into the part of starting to see conspiracies all over the place. And in real life, there's conspiracies all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that's
I should let
actually
the next-
happening is worse than what we could ever imagine. Like, we could come up with like the craziest idea about the horrible shit that these people are doing, and the reality of what they're doing is 100 times worse.
Just the magazines that I got. So I got the magazines for the defense industry, not classified stuff, just the industries of what technology is available, what I need to teach in school. And I never see any of this stuff on the news, the media. And it's absolutely shocking when you see new weapons for urban drone attacks and stuff like that.
It's nuts.
That's the scary when you see those words together, urban drone attack. That's just
It's coming.
it's freaky, man. It's freaky. They're gonna
Yeah.
get
they're
like
put-
Well, I mean, in the
Dude,
last
they're
few
putting
years,
machine guns on robot dogs. We're fucked.
no, the machine guns and robot dogs are pretty low tech.
It'll still
Uh,
kill some people.
That's not even the fancy thing. That's the cheap mass production models, you know. I just wish we had giant robots, like Gundams that we could drive and stuff. Like that's always what I wanted. But instead, we're getting all this other bullshit, like the drones and the robot dogs. But I think that robotics should be classified under the Second Amendment, right? Because we're seeing robots becoming weapons of war, which is what the Second Amendment is supposed to secure the rights for people of. Because I think there'll be a time where it's like things like battle bots and stuff like that just becomes illegal for the standard person to own. And like I know it sounds kind of dorky, but like the ability to make a robot that destroys a robot is really, really, really accessible. Like you could literally just go get some shit from the hardware store and put together your own robot fighting robot. And like I just think it's
Yeah.
cool that schools still have robotics clubs, right? Because that's something that like children can learn how to use this. And it's almost like when they had shooting clubs back in the day. And I feel like it'll reach a point where people are arguing like, why do you need to own your own robot? You know, just like why do you need to own a gun? We need robot control. So I think that there's a big democratizing aspect of the technology for like people being able to have their own personal defense. Like you walk into someone's house and you hear like like that shit spool up in the foyer, like that would be terrifying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I'm
a
cool on
40-pound
I'm cool on
speedway.
RoboCop dystopia.
Yeah. Because like the robot dogs,
Well,
like you hit them thing in the legs once with like tombstone and they're done. Like they're going for like I've seen what happens when robots that people make with giant ass blades smack into other robots that people make and they just go fucking flying in the air. You know?
yeah. I've had to go to the local STEM fest for my school to be there, and it's amazing the skill level of these kids. You know, they're no more than juniors in high school, and they're doing wonderful things. Back to the size of the robots. I'm not worried about a big robot. Big robots can be targeted. Big robots can have a jet go after them with launch stuff. What I'm worried about are thousands or millions of little teeny robots. That one goes out, the next one just pops on. So we have
like
to
a
start
drone
thinking
swarm
about
more than a dog walking down the street.
instead of thinking of big as in size, think of big as in the effective force. You know,
Do you
little
think there
teeny
could be,
microbes can take out a.
so you as someone like I know that this is going to sound like a stupid question, but do you think removing things in homes like lead paint and removing lead from gasoline, like I know it was bad, but they don't really care if they poison us, right? Like, do you think that things like that were taken away from people to make like digital communication systems able to control drones and things like that at a larger scale? Because if the atmosphere was full of lead around most municipal areas, wouldn't the communications be harder? Because lead acts like an insulator essentially from allowing that like radio waves and shit to pass through.
It might block a little bit, but in reality, we really needed to get the lead out of the houses and especially out of the gasoline. So the gasoline was just going around, just spreading it all over everybody. Every car was bad. The other one that's hardly ever talked about is the brakes. The brake dust. Every time you use your brakes, you're spreading microparticles of all stuff that's going to be hazardous to your lungs. And other things we do is constant. That doesn't make much. TVs. I know you guys are young, but in the old days, we had cathode ray tube based TVs. And we were told it was bad for our eyes that if we got too close, and we were told it was optical reasons. The thing is that when you bounce an electron beam off of something, it gives off X-rays, or not X-rays. Yeah, X-rays. So there's whenever a particle hits another particle, there's always some kind of bad things happening. So it was figured out that if you were 10 feet away from the TV set, that the radiation would be low enough that it wouldn't be a considerable dose. That was a fast-made approximation. And it's possible that getting us onto LED-based monitors might have had more of an effect on improving our health than removing lead and other things from our gas and walls. As far as getting our signals in, our modern appliances that we have produce a wave. So there's constant noise from everything we're doing. You need a pretty good cage to be able to not let anything out. And these cages that really clamp down and stuff are really expensive. So, sorry, I didn't mean to go off too far.
Eventually get turned into, like, in the building process, into like small Faraday cages, so that way they don't receive all of the external signals?
No, it doesn't take much of a leap out of the Faraday cage to get a reflection off. And at first it might be an issue, but the systems that are out there are already pretty advanced. I didn't want to get into anything like phased array radar, but having multiple sample methods of getting information, it comes together eerily perfect as pulling stuff back together. And we think of everything as being quiet. Electrically, we're in an electric soup. All kinds of stuff going on all around us. So,
Professor Snork. So how far do we sit away from the TV? That's all I need to know.
Huh?
How far away should I sit from the TV from now
on? If you're using a monitor with the LED or
well,
LCD,
I just want to know when I'm in the living room with my mom watching TV. How far away should I be?
Are you rocking a CRT out there? I know you don't have a CRT out there.
No.
Yeah. So the CRT, the problem with it was back in the 60s, you got home, there wasn't anything else to do. Most people just sat in front of the TV all night. They got an extreme dose of things that were going on. So we have people that are going on about microplastics and stuff like that. But there are so many other things around us that are bad. If I bring them up, I'll put all kinds of people into a panic.
And that's why we love you coming on the show, Snork.
It's Nightmare Fuel Friday.
Yeah, did you see the email I sent you?
No,
just
where?
Little things like that. I worry about people learn one little fact and they're just going to be crying in the dark. So,
Snork, where are you sending the email?
I should let other. Oh, a Pasta to Go show.
Okay, I haven't checked Pasta to Go for a while, so that's why I'm going to go over there right now.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to go check right now.
Don't read that one aloud. It's got us.
Oh, is this you, Representative Brad Sherman? I'm
think
just
so.
kidding, Snork. I know you're not Representative Brad Sherman, so.
I didn't remember if I put that in there. So
I'll keep an eye out for it. Is it Professor Snorky? I'll look for it. Got it.
No, it's my real name. It's not my real name.
No doubt, no doubt. I got the emails up. I'll look for them later for sure. And thank you for calling in the show and always helping out, Professor.
Y2K. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you, buddy.
Oops. Get my phone on.
Later. Professor Snorky in the house, everybody.
I always appreciate when smart people call in for real.
Yeah. There's a lot of smart people who watch this show, man. It's that call in.
No, I
You know,
remember as a kid, me and my buddies would get together and we would have like anywhere between like 3 and 8 of the old tube TVs crammed into one bedroom with everybody playing fucking Halo together on them. So like if that's
Like
the radiator
bathing
going
in the X-rays.
out, like we're fucked because I was literally like this close to the screen, like we got this.
but you were a good Halo player, so it was worth it.
I was probably the worst in my group, you know, but it was still fun. Better than average, definitely not good.
What was your favorite weapon?
Oh, battle rifles. That was the thing.
I love the sword, though. I love just running around with that sword and just axing people up. That's always fun. But I'm a sniper, too. I love just getting from a long distance, try to get up in the weird, obscure places and just... But that's bad. That's promoting violence. Don't promote violence. Not here at Pasta to Go on drive time in the morning. We don't promote violence. We just talk about it. You know, the violence around us.
We live in a
Okay,
violent
so
society.
So what were you saying about the press secretary resigning?
she did. Carolyn Levitt resigned. And I was just saying that, you know, we were talking about this the other day with Kyle Anzalone. Like Kyle, you know, we would always like, what's Jean Karine Pierre going to say today? Because it was important because you wouldn't hear from Biden for days, right? Like you wouldn't know what was around. You don't know what the White House was doing, what positions they were taking on certain issues. Carolyn Levitt, you know, it's a little bit different, right? She's out there and she's pretty much just playing damage control to everything that Donald Trump says. Donald, like I said, if you want to know how the White House thinks or feels about a situation, don't go to the press conference. Just go to Truth Social and see what that idiot's going to put up in 5 minutes. He's going to be yelling and screaming about it. So I mean, that's where you get all your information from. So, but she is resigning. She's finishing it out at the end of the month. People are trying to say whatever. And I know you might get her mixed up for Pam Bondi. They're like,
They look the
like,
same, dude. They're both like generic ass blonde women.
That's not me saying that.
Dude, I literally thought they were the same person for like 2 years.
I know a lot of people did.
They might be like
I just found, dude. I just found out like I don't know a couple weeks ago that they were different people. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I just had no clue, dude.
I missed the first Trump administration where you had like all of the ridiculous press secretaries that would be in for like a minute. You know, they would like do a week and then quit. Like I can't remember all their names, but I know they're like Scaramucci was one of them.
Anthony Scaramucci. He did work. Yeah. He worked for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then there was a couple others that were like
Spicer.
Like,
Spicer was the best.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Spicer, the porn star name. Yeah. Why can't we go back to that kind of Trump administration where it was
at least it was entertaining,
right? Like this isn't even fun to watch anymore. It's just sad.
Yeah, it is not fun to watch. It is sad what we're witnessing. Don't touch that Gucci, Anthony Scaramucci. I remember him. And you want to talk about a guy who was just so ass hurt that he got fired. The second he got fired, he hasn't shut up complaining and talking shit about Donald Trump. The Democrats love that dude because he was just balls out with Trump. Now, listen, there's a little controversy over here because I know a lot of people in this chat who follow this show are not big on electoral politics. Don't think that electoral politics are going to get us out of anything, right? But Sam Husseini announced he's running for Congress. Listen to this. Now, the problem is he's running as a Green in Maryland, but they had already done the legwork. They'd gotten the ballot access, so they went to him. So it's not like it's one of those things like, well, why you went in the Green? Well, they gave you a spot to get on the ballot. You know what I'm saying? If you got access and they got ballot access, there are some states that do well. I'd like to talk to Ian Schlockman about the Maryland Greens and see what's going on a little bit more about them. We have some people within the Green Party who could probably help us out. Obviously, there's some shitty people within the Green Party. Howie Hawkins is the first that comes to mind. His war hawk stance. I didn't even like Joe Stein's positions on the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? They weren't that great at all. I mean, she didn't at least come out and kind of protect the Black Caucus members who got shitted on by the steering committee. And the steering committee making that decisions about how they're going to approach the whole COVID situation, I think was really bad for Greens in general, because a lot of Greens didn't feel that way. And it kind of tainted them. Well, Sam has done a lot of work on the origins of COVID. He's done a lot of work on the origins of Ebola, right? Ebola, sorry, not Ebola, Ebola, and some of the outbreaks. He's done some great work out there. And you can't vote.
Man, don't give him ideas for new viruses, dude.
I gave him a new one. So there is this whole situation that, okay, this person's not going to win, the system's rigged, but bringing discussions to the table, right? Like, I'm kind of excited Sam is doing this. And I am biased because I like Sam. Sam's first appearance on the Jimmy Dore show was when I was there. He's been on a couple times since. He does great work. He's always kind of cornered and, held people's feet to the fires as far as power is concerned. So I know that some people are going to be like, you can't, people don't even want to talk about, electoral politics. They're so done with it. I get it.
So
but I think to raise the issues.
My really nuanced opinion on electoral politics
What's that?
My nuanced opinion on electoral politics is I don't think there's a political solution, but time passes, and I don't think it's worth surrendering completely on that front. You know what I mean? Like, it may not be the solution that we're going to have to solve the problem, but it's a way to at least slow down the reckoning. And like Ron Paul, for example, like, he didn't do all of the electoral stuff because he wanted to win and be president or a senator or what have you. He did it because he can use that as a vehicle to have other people start paying attention. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't think the solution is we just got to get someone into the president's office, right? Or we just need one good Congress critter. But I think it is the ability to get at that level, at that stage, to raise awareness and attention, to bring other people into it, while other people work on the local organizing and the alternative systems of power, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And I think that's why, national discussions are important, if you have the opportunity, if you're going to run for office, and, there might not be no chance whatsoever. You're not going to vote your way out of an oligarchy. We get it. I know people say that. So what's the sense then? Well, if you can elevate discussions, you know what I'm saying? It's completely different. I think that I think this is a good thing. And I'm very, very happy about this one. So take a look. This has got to be one of the best. And let's go full screen on this, Sleepy. This has got to be one of the best, I think, announcement campaign videos out there I've seen in a while. He hits so many different points. Here we are. Here's Sam Husseini. He's running in Maryland for Congress, guys, as a Green Party member. This is his opening, his announcement speech video.
Hello, my name is Sam Husseini. Last year, I confronted Antony Blinken. Last month, I confronted Democratic Party leader Chuck Schumer. Now, I'm launching a run for Congress. The genocide-enabling Republican and Democratic Party establishments must be confronted at every turn and on every front. They represent the interests of the Epstein class, while relentlessly conning working people. Not only are they sending our tax dollars to Imperial Israel to destroy schools, hospitals, and housing in Gaza, money which should be going to building up schools, hospitals, and housing here at home, but their backing Imperial Israel has also made our nation more of an empire and even less of a democracy, with big tech surveillance, militarization of police, and attacks on free speech and the right to protest. We need to renew Main Street. We can no longer abide Wall Street and war machine Democrats. They are often enabling rather than hindering Trump, including with this unconstitutional attack on Iran, just the latest of these imperial Zionist wars. It has already cost us $750 per household in increased fuel and other costs in just 3 months. And Trump's issued nuclear threats while refusing to acknowledge Israel's nukes. My Democratic Party opponent, Glenn Ivey, got into Congress with millions in pro-Israel money like AIPAC, and even opposed Obama's Iran deal. We must take on the data centers, insurance companies, and abolish ICE. By working for peace, we will, as Gil Scott-Heron put it, bring ourselves closer to each other, closer to building a structure that is unique within ourselves, because we have finally come to peace within ourselves, including as a nation. I'm running outside of the two major parties that serve their billionaire donors. Like most of my fellow citizens, I am ready for transformational political change. By running with an independent party that rejects corporate money and super PACs, the Green Party, I am spitting out the whole corrupt political system. Please volunteer, and if you can, contribute. Let's seize this historic moment to make our country a real democracy for all.
So
We've got a
let me
call.
explain. We got a call. We're going to take that caller, but let me just say this much before we ask to bring the caller in. I get that people are done and fed up and don't want to even participate in electoral politics, but the majority of people are still looking for a place to go. You know what I'm saying? And they want to participate in the system, and there's discussions about what we can do, how we can do, being realistic about it. It's one thing. But Sam Husseini checks a lot of boxes, and he checked a lot of boxes in that opening announcement speech. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from? Andrew's going to give a quick opinion, and then we'll get you going, okay?
I was going to say the big thing with electoral politics too is like, don't stop organizing. Like, if you're someone who is inclined to run for office, whether you win or lose, continue organizing afterwards. Even if you lose and then you immediately start up for the next run and keep your people involved and everything like that going, because that's the thing that kills me, right? Like, we had this dude named Casey that was running. Casey, I can't pronounce his last name. I want to say it was like Puckus, that was running against Vivek in the Republican primary. And Vivek obviously won the Republican primary here in Ohio, but he just stopped organizing, from what I can tell. Like, he doesn't hold rallies anymore. He doesn't travel across the state anymore. And that's really the problem, is like you put all of this effort into making the car, and as soon as you have to put gas back in the tank, instead they let the air out of the tires, because it's not going to be one election cycle. It's going to be someone that has fought for 10 election cycles, that has that base of people that just never gave up. You know what I mean?
I'm Harvey Milk, and I'm here to recruit you. Caller, who are you, and where are you calling from?
Hey, Pasta, it's Dave from Melbourne. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on? It doesn't even sound like you, buddy. Are you awake over there?
I'm a little subdued. We've been dealing with a death in the household this week, so I'm kind of distracted, but that's okay. I mean, people shouldn't be mixing drugs with boner pills, and this guy made a mistake. So it's just one of those weird things. So we're dealing with the fallout from that. I'm kind of subdued and tired. It's still early. But yeah, jumping right into the Sam Husseini thing. He's a great guy. I really respect his ferocity. He reminds me a lot of myself in the way that I will get in, the face of people who do bad things and ask questions. But, having seen examples like Cynthia McKinney and what happened to her when she opposed the establishment, how she was basically blacked out of Congress.
Yeah.
I don't think you can solve a den of vipers by jumping into a den of vipers. That's not how you build up resistances, and I admire his work. I admire his challenge. But I don't think it's going to have a drastic effect, especially being from Maryland and having seen super corrupt politicians come through there like Paris Glendening and others, having seen Marion Barry reelected as mayor for D.C. The swamp is going to be the swamp no matter what. It's its nature. And I wish I could say he could have a super positive effect, but I don't really see it happening. I mean, even if he gets in office, they'll just put him in a corner and call him an anti-Semite and have the right-wingers yelling at him because his name is Hussein, just like they did with Obama, for good or ill.
Well,
yeah, I don't think it's a solution, but I don't think it's a front that should be surrendered either. Like, if people are
No.
willing to do it, then I think it's important for them. But I don't think it's the vehicle to get out of the situation. You know what I mean?
I agree. I still think that our best solution is to do a genuine movement aside from what we know is the two-party system, but is really like the five-party system, because you got Democrats, Republicans, you got transhumanists, libertarians, and they all belong to the same group. And then you got the Green Party, which thankfully Husseini is running under. But, you know, it's like throwing rocks at a giant. You know, it only works in the Bible. And that's because, you know, you've got a fictional story there.
You're telling me
those
I can't live in the
slingshots were
stomach of
actually
a
really
Are
fucking
you telling
strong.
me Are
Like,
you
I don't
guys
know if
telling me
you've
I
seen
can't
them,
live
like,
in the stomach of a whale for 3 days?
I mean, there's a new movie coming out about it where, you know, some guy
I
gets
know.
eaten by a whale and has to fight a squid, and it's like Jonah 2.0, and it's probably going to be the worst thing in cinema. So probably not, buddy. I wouldn't recommend swimming with whales so that you can get closer to God either. It's probably a mistake.
So just on that point, he wasn't eaten by a whale. He was eaten by a shark, because it says fish, right? Not mammal. And the actual text of it is written in like the past tense of him being dead. And the entire story is about God forgiving people that Jonah didn't want to be forgiven. And that is why he got put in that situation. Like, he tried to run across the Mediterranean Sea to get away from what God had told him to do. And he literally was like in a boat in the middle of a storm, and was like, everyone in the crew was like freaking the fuck out, and he was like, no, like, God's mad at me. So they threw him overboard. He got eaten and killed by a shark. If you actually read the like tense, how it talks, it's all in past tense and referring to himself as dead, and then gets resurrected on the shores to then walk like 400 miles to Nineveh, to literally walk in the town and say, like, the bare minimum. He's like, you guys need to repent, and then walks out, and then the whole city starts repenting. Like, I don't think it's the most believable story, right? But it's a story of doing what you're supposed to do, even if you don't want to do it, if that makes sense. Like, the moral of the story isn't like dude got eaten by a fish. The moral of the story is what you're called to do isn't always what you want to do.
Are you saying
Well,
it's an
and I agree with that
allegory?
moral.
Right.
But wasn't it also based on a bet made between God and the devil that, you know, you could just like take
No, that was
everything from
Job.
the sky?
That was the story of
Oh,
Job,
okay.
where God
Yeah, you're
literally
talking about
said,
Jonah.
like,
That's
this
right.
dude loves me so much, I can kill his family, all of his kids, burn all of his fields, give it.
Yeah. So sorry for the biblical reference. It was
No, you're
just one of
fine.
those snarky things. But I did also, I mean, I support Husseini's campaign. I think people should vote for him, even though I do think, you know, from the Carlin School of Education, when it comes to voting, you know, if it had an effect, they wouldn't let you do it. But, you know, I absolutely support people's right to support him in public and support his message. But I still think for these midterms, given what we see right now, especially the left is trying to sabotage itself by supporting Fauci when he's obviously guilty of like horrendous war crimes, while the right is making themselves asses in Iran and blowing the last like 0.3% of our oil. I think we should protest this vote and protest it very publicly, because there's a lot of fence sitters that are just arguing lesser evils. If they saw an active protest where it didn't matter what side you're on, they would gravitate towards it. Because right now, especially with the Charlie Kirk controversy and this upcoming debate tonight between Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson, even some of the dumbest people on the left and right, like the dumbest of the dumb, are like, hey, wait a minute, there's something weird going on here. Where's the money coming from? And I've been waiting for about 20 years for this moment. So if we don't strike while the iron's hot right now, then we're probably all going to fall right into Agenda 2030, and it's going to be too late.
What do you
Who's
recommend
hosting?
we do?
Sorry, who's hosting that debate? By the way,
It's PBD.
it is
Patrick
Patrick
Bet David.
Bet-David. That's right. So
Yep.
I that's not a juicy debate to me. They align so much on ideology, all three of those people. It's just, I don't know.
They all come from the same money. I mean, Daily Wire, where Candace Owens started, was a Salem Media affiliate back before they were a foreign agent. And only in the last 6 years has Brad Parscale and Salem Media been forced to be labeled a foreign agent. And so what I think this is, and why people should pay attention to it, it's an event where Candace is inviting them into her home. So at any time you can say, you chuds, she can say, yeah, you chuds are rude, get the hell out. Because I think that's the angle that Andrew and PBG are going to team up on. But it's going to be a way for them to generate millions of dollars while Andrew Wilson is basically broke, and then be able to create new organizations where they hire all their old Daily Wire buddies. Because if you didn't notice, the Daily Wire movie that they just put out with Jonathan Majors, Run, Hide, Fight or whatever, it's like a Red Dawn rip for Islamophobia, it's bombing. So they're losing all their money, and people are like, yo, what's up with this Salem Media funding? Like, why are you taking money from a foreign agent that's been caught embezzling money, millions of dollars for Israel through Trump's campaign and other crowdfunding sources? So this is a way for them to like break away from the existing establishment now that TPUSA is basically exposed as the modern Hitler Youth.
Andrew Wilson is still avoiding me, right? He's supposed to come. I challenged him to a boxing match. We'll see. We'll see what he accepted.
I'd pay to see that.
Well, the whole thing was, I challenged him to a boxing match. I don't like Andrew Wilson. And I think everybody knows me. I'm a pretty loving, fair guy. Obviously, that is one guy I want to knock in the face. I really just can't stand him. His stupid look, his stupid face, his bullshit words that come out of his fucking mouth. I can't stand that kid, Andrew Wilson. And I met him at the Cause Fest, the Rebels for a Cause. They called it Cause Fest. And we got into it. And, there's some more other slimy shit with that whole story. But, man, I wanted to have a boxing match with him and then debate him on immigration. And somebody had talked about that one time. I'd like to renew that kind of energy again. Have a boxing match and then a debate. That's what I want with him. I can't stand that dude. But anyways, I'm sorry. I thought Sam Tripoli was doing like that whole debate thing, right? Remember
Well, at first, Candace Owens had recommended Michael Knowles because they both had professional experience. Knowles at the Daily Wire. And then Andrew countered what I think Joe Rogan, probably because he wanted to smoke. But it's just a big, massive Jerry Springer fest at this point, a bunch of mudslinging and stuff. I don't think we're going to have any actual resolution. It's just going to be both parties cashing out. Because Andrew Wilson, he threw an event in Atlantic City where he spent about $150K and only 3 people showed up. And he was all bragging about this event, how it's going to be for like elite, smart people. And one of the 3 ticket buyers was just there to troll him. So he completely failed and pretty much went bankrupt. I think this is a way for Candace to make a clean $1 million for her new kid and Andrew to actually get back on the sphere, because there's absolutely no reason for someone as small and slimy as Andrew Wilson from whatever to actually even be debating Candace Owens with her current stature. That's why everybody, kind of thinks it's a psyop.
But what are they debating on? What are they going to debate on? Like, what is the difference that they have? Like I said, they align so much on so many things. Right-wing, hardcore, nationalistic Christians, right? They're both theocrats. They're both anti-immigrant. They're both anti-collectivist. I mean, what are they going to debate on?
Well, it's surely the Charlie Kirk assassination. Andrew Wilson is taking the Fed flop position, which is that Tyler Robinson did it, and we have to destroy the trans left because of it, blah, blah, blah. And Candace's position is that Israel had something to do with it, that there was some kind of conspiracy going on. And there's a couple hard points for her to prove there. But given that the majority public opinion is already that, Israel definitely had something to do with it, and Andrew's history of bad faith, including with this incident, he's really got no chance. So this is just another humiliation ritual for him and probably PBD as well, because their ratings are tanking. Adam Sosnick is basically destroying their entire network to the point where even like Vinny over there is like, yo, you guys need to wake up or we're not going to have a platform anymore.
That's the
we need to
co-host.
take some positive takes.
Is that his co-host?
What's that?
That guy?
Yeah.
What's his
Adam
name?
Sosnick is the main co-host. And then there's Vinny, I forget his last name, who's the only one like having any kind of morality or reason on that show. Taking the opposite position, which is, what Israel is doing is freaking horrible and we shouldn't have this war in Iran, while everybody else has just become an echo chamber for, illegal war crimes.
That guy, Vinny, though, I've seen a lot of his tweet. I guess out of those two, they could be the voice of reason. Adam Sosnick, you said his name was it? I didn't even bother to learn that dude's name. He's such an idiot. He was on. He's one of those guys when he was on Piers Morgan with Anna Kasparian. Like when they ask you that question, are you ashamed of America? Are you proud of America? Or do you that whole thing with that nationalistic thing where they try to get you to say, well, you don't love America if you don't even have this blind loyalty towards it, where you got to say, I love my country no matter what. They try to eliminate you from the conversation by saying, you don't love America. You can't have this conversation. You hate America anyways. It's like, no, can't I just hold my government and my country accountable for the bad things they do? Do I have to have this blind loyalty? It's so stupid. I mean, it's childish.
As Gabriel says, it's cultish behavior.
Yes, it is.
1984 and 2001 called. They want their McCarthyism back and their Islamophobia back. We've seen these campaigns for 25 years. It's so played out at this point that Americans are just exhausted on reflex, but they can't figure that out in their little Tel Aviv bot labs. So you see the internet absolutely freaking flushed with all these Hezbollah bots that have, 40 to 25-year-old talking points that just don't work anymore on Americans. We finally shook free of that level of mind control, but you still have, blind patriots who are saying, oh, if you support, illegal aliens in our country, you're a traitor or a stochastic terrorist or whatever they want to call you. When really this country was built on sovereign and inalienable rights, which guarantee, all protections under the Geneva Convention as a UN and NATO member state. And none of them want to bring that up. None of them even want to address that. Their only deflection is, oh, well, we shouldn't be part of UN and NATO anyway. But we are, and that means we have to respect the Geneva Convention, even if we didn't sign on to it. And that's what a lot of right-wingers don't understand. The same life and liberty that's granted to Americans is granted to any living person who hasn't actually committed a crime in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was just going to agree. I think that it's back to the debate thing. I don't even know why Candace Owens would try to take a debate with someone that's relatively irrelevant nowadays. You know what I mean?
Why is he irrelevant? Just because he got abused by that girl?
Well, because it seems like you're trying to rebuild opposition to yourself. You know what I mean? Take someone that's out of the relevant spotlight, that's like a third or even a quarter as influential, popular, if that, right? And then put them back on the pedestal of hey, the attention Olympics. You know what I mean? I just find that really strange.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Candace and Ben Shapiro, the girl and her former boss going at it. It's literally her and some relatively random dude at this point.
A dude who made a name for himself by going on a show called Whatever, right? That just belittled women on a regular basis, whatnot. That was the whole. I mean, Myron Gaines is another one who does. I can't stand these fucking people. I think Sneako's heart is in the right place. You know what I'm saying? But I would debate any of these assholes on any of the issues that me and Andrew got into it at the Cause Festival about. And this guy will just say fucking anything, right? First of all, he was making the argument that since I am not a Christian or a Muslim or whatever, if I'm not religious, that I can't have I don't have a value system. So I'm pretty much irrelevant. What I have to say is irrelevant because I'm not working on a value system. And I'm like, dude, I don't have to have it written down on a fucking commandment on a piece of paper that says thou shalt not murder. I know that murdering is bad. I don't need it written fucking down. And after that, we stumbled onto the whole, like, I was talking about foreign policy is a big reason for our immigration issue, right? Like, well, immigration is a direct result of what we do foreign policy wise. But he was justifying what we were doing in these Latin American countries, kind of in a way, because once again, like, we have to stop communism of sorts, that we have an invested interest to stop these other governments close by. The dude's all over the fucking place. He'll say anything for attention, that dude. I mean, he's just, we were yelling at each other, and then I walked away. I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with this douchebag, man. This guy is just an asshole. And I had a debate with what's his name, Destiny, right, on elections. We were cool. We shook hands after. We were respectful of one another. It was also his worst beating, I think, in a debate.
How the hell could you listen to that guy talk for more than 2 minutes and not punch him in his face? I really gotta know.
If you go back and you watch the debate, you'll just see he was out of his league in that thing. Once again, you're gonna.
He's out of his league in everything. He's so full of shit. Dude,
what's that?
That guy's so full. Everything is out of that guy's league. He's fucking
CIA
stupid.
talking points are coming out of that dude's mouth.
Yes.
So question.
He didn't know what he was walking into, but
real quick, because like the iron is hot right now. Like there are people, like more than ever, really, that are politically aware or even just aware of what is happening, like with the data centers and the mass surveillance, and making the connection between, like, if COVID happened with flock cameras, what would the lockdowns have looked like?
Yes.
Right. So what do you think that, like, we as the, like, people who understand better what's actually happening should be doing?
Well, can I say something about that? And I kind of want to pose a question for our caller as well, because I know you made your statements, and I get that too as well. And I know a lot of people there in the chat, I can see them like, oh, Pasta, here you go with your voting again. You're not going to vote your way out of an oligarchy. You should do whatever you can do to make your message be heard and the discussion go out to as many people as possible, right? And with Sam Husseini running for this office, right? If you were in a position, Dave, where you were running and you got a lot more attention because you're calling out your opponent, whatever, but now you're talking about all these sun dimming projects, right? And you're getting a little bit more attention to do so. If that elevated your message, why wouldn't that be a valuable tool? And I think Sam is taking advantage of this too as well. That's the whole thing. I would never believe that Sam would want to do this or run and put himself out there. But even in the beginning of his opening statement, right, for his campaign video, his launch video, they need to be confronted on every ground in every area, right? He says that, like, coming out of the gate, both the establishment, that is important. If this run for Congress, even if it doesn't kind of pan out and he doesn't get the seat, whatever the case may be, if it elevates the message, the voice, the conversations, the national discussion, isn't that a good thing, Dave?
Absolutely. I totally support Husseini's run. However, I'm not going to let that re-illusion me to think that the given voting process is anything but corrupt, especially in a state like Maryland. I would never put that upon anyone else, but I'm a big fan of consent. You can't remove someone else's consent. That's the ultimate form of violence. You're basically telling them that they don't have sovereignty, that they don't have a choice. The illusion of choice is great, but we've already had examples like Cynthia McKinney. And I love what Husseini does. I love how he gets right in the faces of the people who can't answer these questions and finds ways to make them reveal themselves. I think he's great at that. But that's also the reason why I love Jimmy Dore, why I love you guys, is because you're not afraid. But we've demonstrated that we can do this in the public sphere without submitting to the corrupted system in America of voting. We need a total rehaul. You can't fix these Nazi cult pedophiles that are running things and calling it transhumanism. They won't stop. As soon as the government gets to the point where they're willing to slow kill not only their own citizens, but citizens all around the world with, like you said, sun dimming projects,
Yeah.
We've gone beyond the mouth of madness. We're in the belly of the beast, just waiting to get shat out, if you would like that Dante's Inferno illusion. And sometimes you have to go into the ninth circle of hell through every other circle in order to confront the devil himself and be shat out the other side for a chance of purgatory. That's the whole point of that Dante's Inferno analogy. However, at the end of the day, Dante was excommunicated, and some would argue that he was killed for that view as well, and lives on as a martyr in his book. So while I don't support the current voting system, it's given us weirdos like Kamala, Biden, Trump, all people that are complicit in the same exact conspiracy of world domination and Agenda 2030. I'm thinking of running for office myself in Florida just because it's so damn corrupt that the ability to make an open statement calling out the system, even just one, just like you said, to give a larger voice to other people to realize, hey, something's wrong here. But equally, I'm noticing even in Florida, where some of the dumbest people in America are, even some of these, fraternity-minded, hump boys, they're even realizing, whoa, those clouds are not moving in a natural direction. These storms are not forming naturally. Something's being done. Somebody's manipulating the weather, and this doesn't make any sense. So we don't need a political movement. The movement has become grassroots when the dumbest amongst us have noticed, hey, this guy doesn't quite look right. What's up with that?
Look at what North Carolina did, like just as a goofy example, right? They banned geoengineering, and then a few months later got hit with a geoengineered hurricane, and then the Amish stepped up to build houses for the homeless people from those situations, and the government stepped in to destroy them. You know what I mean? So, like, even if you get an electoral win, like, even if you get, like, the fucking state representatives and the governor to sign on to banning geoengineering, they're not the ones doing it, But look, I do have to go here in a minute. But if I could recommend something, because it's something I've been reading a lot lately, and maybe people already have, but I would read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, because I think that's the situation where we're in, is we have to start thinking about this more as a like multi-front offensive and defensive, and how we organize, like even with him running for office. Okay, cool. But where is that relieving pressure for other people to make a front? You know what I mean? Like, is him running for office, like, should someone go there and form a grassroots organization to support him that's outside of the political process? So that way, win or lose, the people that are working for his campaign still have a way to keep fighting in an organized way afterwards. You know what I mean? Like the guy running for governor in Florida right now. I don't remember his name. It's like the dude with like the hipster guy with the sunglasses. But he's like anti-flock and all this stuff. Like what should we be doing to support not him, but to support what he is creating outside of the political process? You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense, like trying to look at it like as a definitive like war strategy, even if we don't have other people involved with it,
Yeah, that makes that's interesting. That whole I know Dave's been hearing about that too. We're in Florida, so we hear a lot about this whole fishback Byron Donalds thing. I don't know if you heard the announcement the other day, Dave, that supposedly Byron Donalds is under investigation for sex trafficking of sorts, and Fishback went to the Capitol to have a press conference, and it's getting kind of interesting. It's kind of, it is fun. That is for sure.
Yeah, I did hear about that. And honestly, in my opinion, given the 3 months ago testimony in West Palm Beach from the Epstein victims, who not only named Epstein, but some of them named Trump as their teenage abusers, and the ongoing case with Jane Doe number 4, who's still actively suing Trump, the Katie Fang lawsuits where Todd Blanche is just saying, no, I don't need to follow these judges' orders. Every single politician that's in office in Florida right now, ignoring the 3 co-conspirators that go back to 2006, every single one of them needs to be investigated for their financial ties, because Florida is becoming a safe haven for Israeli Zionists who are coming over. It's already been a safe haven for Italian mafia and mob for decades. This state is so freaking corrupt that it's just normal to have a corrupt governor now. DeSantis himself ignored the West Palm Beach hearing and victims while Ponzi scheming $37 million to stop recreational marijuana and easy access to abortion. If that's not a partisan-driven Ponzi scheme and a misuse of the U.S. taxpayer dollars, I don't know what is. And on top of that, he's also using U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund high-risk Israeli bonds by gubernatorial signature. Like, this state is so corrupt that every single leader we have needs to be investigated for their active involvement in Epstein systems and Epstein banking and all of this stuff, because it's a massive cover-up at this point. And ultimately, it's the victims that get screwed.
But I do have to get going. I apologize. I appreciate all of you. I'm sorry I have to dip out early today. But thank you very much, man. I always love it.
Good to see you.
You have to make a quick last statement real quick before you dip on out. You're Rasputin Jesus. You can't just bounce and go. You got to make a little bit of a speech.
Fair. That's fair. Just do what you can with the time and money that you have. Whatever you think is important, care about it. Like, care about it enough to do something about, because like a lot of people want change, but like if you don't do anything about it, do you actually want it? You know what I mean? Like turn whatever you want into an action, and you can start making a difference on anything.
But you've always been active in being an activist. That's what I got to say about you, man.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to be in like the belly of the beast in Columbus just to see what I can get involved in.
See how much trouble you can get involved with. We need to get Andrew a lawyer and a bail bondsman before he moves to Columbus.
Yes, that 100%.
Andrew Stigman, everybody. Have a great day. Go play with your children. Thank you so much, Andrew. We love you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
Good one, Andrew.
Andrew Zigman, aka Rasputin Jesus. Let's give. We're gonna give the sun dimming guy the last 60 seconds to make a statement. And I have a feeling, Dave, we're gonna see each other sooner than later, being that you live so close. I'm gonna make it a point go up there, see some of those Redagamas, and have some discussions about Florida. But give us your last 60 seconds to put a bow on maybe what you think Sam's doing and anything else you want to talk about, just in case we have any callers waiting in the queue.
Oh, I admire and respect what Sam Husseini is doing, and I'm thinking of following his example in Florida as well because of how corrupt it is. Let me just go back on the flock thing. It's not the big cameras we have to worry about. Those are being put in front of us as kind of a humiliation ritual. We have the robot birds, we have the robot zombie spy birds, but we also have the smallest pieces of nanotech. That's the real dangerous stuff. Bill Gates is still in charge of the mRNA aerosolized vaccine lobby, which gets included in the chemtrails, the geoengineering, and the sun dimming. They also have the graphene machines, which can exert 60 pounds of pressure in 6 different directions at once and can slide into your tissues and between your muscles. These are the real dangerous sleepers. And everyone should be investigating ways to destabilize them in their own system without taking toxic levels of benzene. Old-style turpentine cleanses work just as well as ivermectin and HCQ. They just give you stinky breath, and you can't take too much. So everyone should be looking not only at the big picture, but at the smaller picture as well, because once you have something like Morgellons or nanotech infestation, it's really, really hard to get away from it because it gets into everything and grows on everything. It's like the bed bug of the nanotech world. So not just look at the big picture, but we have to look at the full picture, because these people pan out and they see it on a global scale. That's why they're globalists. And don't forget, your enemies aren't in any party. They're all being funded by the World Economic Forum. Many of them are under capture and are victims themselves, whose families are being held hostage. So just because someone masquerades and appears as a fascist doesn't necessarily mean so. But we really need to take down the Epstein class. Like, these are the people that have woken up most of America, and this is our ultimate uniting factor, because when it comes down to it, the human trafficking, the child trafficking, nobody's okay with that. And if we can build a party just on that premises an anti-war, anti-trafficking party, then we will have achieved the humane level where we can prove to anything and anybody that's watching that we deserve the help that we think we do. Because if I was an outside force watching us, I wouldn't want to touch this toxic dump. And so, if you do believe in a higher creator, then prove it. Prove that we deserve to be saved from this mess. And I just want to say I love all you guys and appreciate Andrew, appreciate you, Sleepy. I really appreciate you, Pasta, and let's make it happen.
Just so you know, Dave, from Melbourne, the median age of Melbourne, Florida is 42 and a half years old. The median income is $67,000. The poverty rate is about 15.77%. There's about 88,000 residents there. So I don't know how many voters we have, but it is 71% white. And they don't have a lot of Latinos there in Melbourne. So I'm looking at where we can get votes from. You know what I'm saying? It is slightly female over male. The unemployment rate is about 5%. So, the average
Actually,
rent is about $1,400. So we'll see.
They're conflating the stats here.
Huh?
Yeah. So Melbourne has a car fentanyl epidemic that the state is intentionally ignoring. Other than that, its main two industries, as the restaurant industry is falling off, are actually defense contractors. I've got a 1 million watt L3 Harris base around the corner from me, and then there's another billion-watt nuclear reactor about 5 miles away in Palm Bay. So this is defense contractor hell out here. They're literally lined up everywhere, including around the malls. So it would be hard to get votes, but at the same time, a lot of the people who work in these defense contracts do understand weather modification, because it happens right here by Space Force, and they understand high-level tech. So, I mean, it would be more of a statement than it would be an actual campaign. But like you said, sometimes, the statement is enough to wake people up. And that's all we really need, is people woken up to what's being done to them and the people they love. Because as soon as you realize your child or your loved one or your spouse is dying from a vitamin D deficiency due to your own taxpayer dollars and your own apathy over time, it awakens something in the human spirit, like a defense mechanism. And that's what we are. We are humanity's defense mechanism. We're its white blood cells. And it's time we act like it.
That's a great statement. But, I really, I guess I'm being a little pessimistic about it. These people found out, right? Like Donald Trump, at the very least, you might not, you can make the argument that he is or he isn't a pedophile, but we know for the fact he is protecting those people, right? And yet people will still kind of defend him no matter what. The tribal or the cultish behavior to me is just so, Andrew made a great recommendation: divide and conquer. They know what they're doing, and they keep us divided and put us in boxes and teams and whatnot, and people fall for it all the time. So what I would like to think that, hearing or seeing these things would wake people up, Dave. But, man, some people are still asleep at the wheel, and they're still making excuses for Donald Trump. And he promised them the Epstein files. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that walked away from him. He's now getting booed wherever he's at. And I find that to be encouraging, not because I want to see somebody get booed, but just the fact that people are waking up to it. So I don't know. Well, I'm kind of on the fence with this whole situation, but maybe people will wake up and stand up. Maybe they will be the white blood cells. I love that whole little thing you got going over there. There's little analogies. Those could be good campaign slogans. What are you, in a cave? Vote Dave from Melbourne. I don't know, man. Thanks so much for calling, brother, and making the show fun.
Thanks for letting me have a voice, man. You, your audience, your guest hosts. This is the change I've been waiting to see since I left NASA and that Viper's Den. So, people like you are the reason I stick around, and I can't appreciate all of you enough. Gabby, you, Pasta, and let's push this further. Let's wake up as many people as we can. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings comes from Jackie Robinson. It says, "A life is insignificant unless it has impact on others." I'm just trying to make an impact. And, it's great to get educated along the way, too, as well. As dark as it may seem, as dangerous as it may seem, or be, that is, I'm still glad and happy that people will educate me on what they've learned, and we can continue to educate the masses on what's really going on. So if this is a movement to wake people up, so be it. And thank you for being a part of it, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. Have a great day, man.
Definitely, brother. We'll see each other soon. You and the Redagamas will break bread. The Redagamas. I don't see them out here. I want to go see the Redagamas. They're hanging out in Melbourne, a couple hours north of me, man. Guys, we do have a little bit of time left. There's about 20 minutes left in the show. If you want to give a call, 561-247-2721. That is 561-247-2721. I can see a lot of
All
people.
right, you ready?
What's that?
Said you ready for
We
the
got
next one?
right away. You know when you catch a fish and then you throw your line back in the water and you catch another fish real quick? Well, that's what's happening here on Drive Time. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from?
What's up, Pasta? It's Uncle Brother calling from Central Georgia. Kind of new to the platform, but I've been following you and seeing for a while, and I thought I'd just give a shot, putting in a call, throwing my little 2 cents out there with regard to the voting. And let me shout out Dave from Melbourne. I think he's amazing, very informed, and I always enjoy his input and commentary.
Thank you.
But I agree with what you say about voting, but I've had a problem with voting since the electronic voting machines. That might be dating me a little bit, but the first time I tried it, I said, well, wait a minute. What's to say that these things can't be hacked and, these votes can't be changed? And I immediately, the next time I, asked for my paper ballot and voted with the paper ballot. And I've done so, consistently every time I vote. Now, I don't think that not voting is a solution. That's one of the problems I have with Candace. She's got a huge platform and she sits there and talks about she's not going to vote. We have what we have. This is the system that we have, and in some kind of way we've got to disrupt it. And what I've come up with, and you can tell me what you think about this, what I've come up with as far as a way to disrupt it, I've been writing in votes. The last, balloted candidates I voted for were Stein and Ware. I just, love the idea of voting for a Jew and a Muslim on the same ticket. I thought that was, just such a slap in the face to the whole system. I couldn't pass it up. But ever since then, I've written in candidates. I think last time I wrote in Scott Ritter and Jeffrey Sachs, because they're brilliant people. And I would like to see a hard ass like Scott Ritter in the White House. And some of his, I don't agree with everything he says. I don't agree with everything that anybody says. But the only way I think the only way to get a change from what's going on out there is to not fully participate, but by way of not choosing from who we're given as a choice. They put these people in front of us and say, this is all you have to choose from. And then, you've talked about how I agree with you on the Green Party. And by the way, I'm from DC, Maryland area, just like Dave. And if I was still there, I would definitely vote for Sam Husseini, because I used to live in the county or near,
I know.
County that he's
you don't
running.
live there no more? You're in Central Georgia now?
Yeah, I left. An opportunity came up. Plus, I was just tired of it. I put in the chat earlier. I said I left because I was tired of all the cameras everywhere, and then I come down here to Georgia, and the flock cameras are just as bad down here.
Yeah,
and it seems like they're popping up even more. So I thought I was getting away from that, but no, I'm not. There's still surveillance, and you just can't get away from it. And so we need to be opposing that. But I just wanted to, I guess I've said what I wanted to say. It's just that I don't think not voting is an answer. We have to vote, but I really think that writing in candidates, if everybody wrote in a candidate that made sense instead of some of these, puppets that they're putting up in front of us, then maybe, these bought out, puppets, then maybe we could, force a change, and who knows, but that's what I think. I don't think we can't not vote, but we can not vote the way that they are forcing us to vote by only choosing from these candidates. No, I'm done.
Can I say
I'm done
something?
with that.
Yeah. Well, first
Sure,
off,
sir.
you didn't use your name, so what do you want me to call you?
I didn't say Uncle Brother.
Okay, Uncle Brother.
Uncle Brother. I'm in the chat as Uncle Brother.
I know Uncle Brother. I know his real name. I know who he is. It's been a while since we talked. I love this guy. I definitely consider him a friend. And we got to meet at Force to Vote in D.C. I think it was the first time we got to meet in person, right?
Yes, sir. I didn't know if I told you if you knew that part.
So that was the first time we met.
Knew,
but Uncle Brother is Uncle Brother's been around. Uncle Brother's done some work. Uncle Brother's done some activism. Uncle Brother's worked a little bit in media too as well. So Uncle Brother knows what's going on. But let me tell you something what you hit on that's very, very important. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you, Uncle Brother, because I believe it's my God-given right to vote, right? Like I feel like I feel about voting the same way that Charleston Heston felt about guns. Right? You have to pry my vote from my dead cold hands. Like it's my right to vote and stuff like that. But we should be rejecting the choices they give us, right? Like, because that's the whole part of it.
Right.
So I like the write-in vote or the abstention vote. You can vote to abstain, like courteously, right? So I like the idea because I am with you. I don't believe giving up the right to vote and not participating is the way to go. So I think what you're doing right there is a great avenue. It's a great angle. Use your write-in skills, right? Show up saying, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm going to reject the choices you've given me. Let me write in my guy or my person or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it is interesting, right? It's like a true, or you can vote abstain. Like you can go and say I abstain. These are real protest votes, and I think they are saying that we're not going to, let our eye off you. We're not going to let you just, ruin the system without us having a say. So when we show up and we hit that line, we write in that thing. We are doing a lot there. So I got to say, I like your mentality. I like your method. I love your tactic, Uncle Brother.
Well, it's the only thing I could think of. I mean, not participating. I just we're going to wind up. There's so many. Well, Dave was saying that he knew that the area from where I left was kind of weird. It's called Tacoma Park, and I was on the DC side. They call it Tacoma, DC. But everywhere you go in that community, there's Ukraine flags hanging or rainbow flags hanging, and it's the current thing. Everybody's all about the current thing. Nobody wants to be an outsider. Everybody wants to be what accepted and going along to get along. And I was very much a contrarian, and always called a contrarian. Why you got to be so contrarian about everything? Because why do you have to go along with everything just because it's the thing? Stop. We have to send a message, by putting names out there of people who, we can see are more qualified than the trash that they're putting before us. There's no way I was going to vote for Kamala Harris, and there was no way I was going to vote for Joe Biden. I wasn't going to vote for Trump either. Trump's been around for so long, and I'm like, who? I thought it was a joke when that he would get laughed off the ballot. But when I saw that he was catching on, I started telling people, I said, this clown is going to win. but I wasn't going to vote for him, and I didn't want any of the other choices. So I started writing in people, and I so admire a lot of what Scott Ritter says a lot of times, and Jeffrey Sachs. I think they're well-informed, brilliant people, and I wouldn't mind having them in the leadership position. But these clowns that we're getting are not leaders. They are just doing what the people who are paying for their campaigns and paying to get their voices out there are telling them to do. And since we're stuck with this system, until we find, the only way to break it is to go along with it. Yeah, okay, I'm going to vote, but I'm not going to vote for who you're telling me to vote for. I'm going to tell you who I want to see doing the job, and then if the more people who participated in that, I think that's the way to put the kink in the cog and finally bring it down and force some sort of reform. I mean, we met when you were out there trying to force the vote, and that drew so much opposition. What is it? Garland says, you you're over the target when you start drawing flat.
Yep.
So that was definitely a way to go, trying to force the vote. But I think a variation on that is, force a change in the vote by writing in candidates instead of just picking from this non-choice, the non-choices that were given.
I mean, when I still voted, that's what I did most of the time.
So
I'd write in stuff.
Donna's sending me some messages. He's like, you got to vote for the Brewster's Million. Remember in that movie? None of the above. Vote for none of the above. And I think there's something really cool about what you're talking about, because I've said this before. When it comes to elections, ballot access is a form of election fraud. They keep anybody worthy. They don't even let them get on the ballot, the opportunity to vote for them. So by the time you are going to vote, you're left with these shit choices. So I like I said, I know I've said it before, I'm going to repeat it again. I think it is a good thing that you're doing. Let's just hit the write-ins and or the abstentions. I love the idea. I'm going to give you the last 30 seconds because we're going to end the show. You're going to be the last caller of the day, Uncle Brother. But thank you for calling in for the show, and it's great hearing your voice. As soon as I heard your voice, I was like, oh shit, man, I haven't seen Homeboy in a long time. We haven't had that conversation in a while, but it's great to hear your voice, man. You sound good.
Well, thank you. You're looking good, man. You're looking good. I wasn't sure if you'd pick up on it. I was a little apprehensive. I said, well, I don't know if he's going to recognize the voice or the name. I know we met as I was Raheem at the time, but but I appreciate the opportunity to call in and be able to voice this opinion. It's just my little 2 cents. Who knows? It's getting tougher and tougher by the day. Yeah. The more we allow this to continue, the harder it's going to be to do anything about it. So the only thing I could come up with is just writing in and not abstaining, because then they're going to use their ballot manipulation tactics to get their people in anyway. We got to start writing in names. We got to choose qualified people. There's plenty of qualified people out there. And if we, like my pick at the time, was Scott Ritter, and he's a hard ass. And if he was in the White House, he might, given a chance to do all the things he talked about, we might see some things change. Who knows? But anyway, thank you very much. It's good to see you still doing your thing. When you do your meetups in Florida, I'm not that far away now. Maybe I can jump on down and meet up with you guys. I'd love to meet.
That'd be awesome.
Dave and you guys in person. So I'll be watching, and maybe I'll. If I come up with another 2 cents, I'll go ahead and throw that in the
you should,
pot
because
as well.
that's the thing. We're going to take your 2 cents. We're going to take Dave's 2 cents. We're going to take Snorky's 2 cents. We're going to take Don's 2 cents. But you take all these 2 cents, we put them in one pot, and you got a lot more than 2 cents. You got many cents. You get dollars. You get wisdom. We get a lot of stuff. And this is that whole kind of process of doing that, man. We're taking the collective voice, talking about the things that the media doesn't want to talk about. That's why we're here. And thank you, Raheem. It's so great to hear your voice, man. It really is. You got the smile on my face that you called in. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know that was you, Uncle Brother. And I do appreciate you. I do love you. And I look forward to seeing you, my man. Thanks for calling in.
Love you. Love you too, man. Be easy.
You got it, Ra. Oh, man. That was awesome. 50 Cent. You can find me in the club.
I mean, that honestly, that's the whole point of the show is, you know, we're not here to listen to I'm not here to listen to you talk pasta. I'm here to listen to what the people got to say, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
because I consume so much news and shit. Like, I want to know what, like, just normal ass people are thinking.
That's, you know, when we talked about starting the show and I called you, I'm like, let's just be the catalyst to get these people's voices in there. Let's take back the media. You know, and I really, you know, I love doing the call-in thing. I've been doing it on WBAI for a while, and I really think it's probably in my wheelhouse. It's probably leans towards my talents that I do have, right? The ability to talk to people, whatnot, and get them to open up and, you know, provide a space for them. So, yeah. But, you know, one of the reasons that I was even pushed was because my mom, I would put on some Fox News for her and whatnot, and then I go kind of jump around to the other news stations, and it's horrible what they're doing out there. It's completely it's not even the news anymore. It's just
the media.
Do you have one more caller?
Oh no, I just forgot to hit the button.
Oh, I thought I thought it was Joanna jumping in. I haven't heard Joanna in a couple of days. I'm gonna have to give Joanna a call and say, "Where you been, Joanna? We need your voice." And you know, Abby Dew was a great caller the other day too, as well. And Tiffany Cianci was on. That was a fun call, and there's a lot of things I like to talk about with Abby Dew because, you know, Tuesdays with Nico, if Abby Dew calls in, we can have some great conversations. But next Tuesday, I'm actually having a special guest come in. I don't know. I'm going to give Nico the option if he wants to take the Tuesday off and then come back next Tuesday. But either way, Klaus Schwab Jr. will be joining us on Tuesday. Hello, my slaves. He will be joining us on Tuesday. Eric Hollerback from Austin, Texas. I love that dude. I met him and Alex Strenger together in Texas. Not in Texas. We met in Tennessee. And then when I went out to Texas, we went for some pizza together, some pizza review together. I went for some barbecue. I went for some Q, they call it, with Alex. And Eric's just a great guy. I love that dude. And he's going to come, and he's going to be one of the co-hosts on Tuesday next week. So that's going to be fun. And you're going to see me do that. I'm going to go dipping into the well of some people I know. I was always able to make good connections. Right now, I lost a lot of connections with my Twitter got nuked, so I can't get a hold of people. Even Sam was like, "Pasta, do you not have a Twitter anymore?" It was like, you know, I'm like, dude, somebody hacked it and then they nuked it. So I did lose. Like, I can't get a hold of Patrick Henningsen now. I can't, you know, I used to talk to him on Twitter and a couple other people. So that kind of sucks that I did lose a lot of my connections, but I still have a decent amount of my good connections of people I've reached out to before and, you know, networked with. So we'll have some cool people come on the show. Monday, Alex Strenger is supposed to be back, so we'll see if he shows on up, and hopefully he'll show up on time. Then Tuesday, we'll have Klaus Schwab Jr., Eric Hollerback. He'll be in here. You know, Wednesday, Karen Kwiatkowski. Thursday, Kyle Anzalone. And Friday, that's Andrew Zigman, who had to go running off because he had daddy duties, but he's always great. That kid's got a great heart, and he is an active activist. The guy is always doing something, and he made a serious point there, Sleepy. Like, you know, out of Sam's movement that's about to start taking place, and Sam is like, I didn't think he would run, so he's like surprisingly one of my favorite candidates right now out of the gate and what he's doing. But after, you know, his campaign ends, how do you take the momentum of what he's built and keep it going, keep organizing? And that's something that needs to happen because a lot of people, when the campaign ends, the organizing ends and they go on to going back to their regular life. We can't do that. We got to use these moments and these opportunities to continue to organize. I asked him about flock cameras. He didn't know a lot about it. He goes, I haven't really looked into it, whatnot. And he did talk. He's been talking a lot about civil liberties. He's got like a leftist libertarian kind of rhetoric in his speeches and stuff. He talks about ICE and how they are terrible with our civil liberties and whatnot. So maybe he can look into these flock cameras, and if we have like a get together, a movement, whatever, and he speaks at it, it's keeping the momentum going that you built through these campaigns, because you usually organize campaigns around issues. You got an issue, grab a tissue, or let's stay organized and let's talk about it, and let's bring that energy, and let's highlight the situation, whatever the case may be. If it's data centers, flock cameras, flock centers, right? Those they're gonna have those.
Same
things,
shit.
right?
Same shit.
They're gonna have
the new
flock
fusion
centers,
center.
I'm gonna try to do the closing monologue. If we can get music, we can get it. If not, we'll figure it out. But
let's try it.
As we wrap up today's show, let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of diversity of thought. I'm gonna lower my.
Oh yeah, it's fucking up.
I'm gonna lower the volume on my computer. So therefore the microphone won't get the feedback, hopefully. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a moment to reflect on the importance of diversity of thought and the peace we can cultivate with our neighbors. In a world that often feels divided, it's our differences that can actually bring us together. Every unique perspective, every story shared, it enriches our collective experience and fosters understanding. Hey, remember, it's okay to disagree. It's how we handle those disagreements that truly matters. Let's embrace dialogue over debate, compassion over conflict. When we listen to one another, we open the door to meaningful relationships. By engaging with our diverse communities, we can find common ground and build bridges that promote peace. So I encourage you to reach out to someone with a different viewpoint, share a meal, have a conversation, or simply listen. Let's create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding in our neighborhoods beyond. Hey, thank you for tuning in today. Remember, together we can celebrate our diversity and pave the way for a brighter, more peaceful future. So until next time, keep the dialogue flowing and that peace growing. I want to thank Sleepy J for always holding it down with me and running this show. It's been awesome, Sleepy. Hopefully we have the new phone system in play. We can see stuff in the queue. We're going to have a system where if you call on in, it will say, hey, you don't have to stay on the line. We'll call you back. We're trying to upgrade that over there. We're trying to get some new music in. We're going to figure all this out. But Sleepy, thank you so much for being my ride or die shotgun brother. And I appreciate all that you do. I also appreciate you, Gabriel Freedom, in the chat, letting people know ways they can help the show, ways they can support us. I know somebody was giving her shit the other day, but people are using these bots out there for all this information. I'd rather have a real human convey that message, and that is what Gabrielle Freedom does, amongst other things. She's been amazing, and that debate with Destiny would have never happened if it wasn't for Gabrielle Freedom getting me into the fight, and she got me in there, and there were a lot of other people trying to get in. But I was able to do that. And that was an amazing time because they let me get in as long as I was on the other debate panel, which is America becoming a communist country. So they're like, okay, we'll let him in this other debate against Destiny as long as he goes in that debate, because there's nobody on the left in that other debate. And I thought I held my ground pretty well. So thank you so much, Gabriel, for making the show great as well. And thank you, Fred Edward, who's been a follower, a supporter, a friend for quite some time. He's always in the chats, bouncing around. Entenmann Bill, I see you out there, what you've been doing for us and promoting us on Judge Knapp's show, on Jimmy Dore's show, and those chats and stuff like that. It is very much appreciated, man. I do appreciate that. Lady Alex and Stacy, man, I look forward to cooking with you ladies one day. I hope we get to do that. You've been amazing. Katie Kane. Thank you guys, ladies, excuse me. Amazing woman that we have here supporting the show. Thank you so much. I want to thank all the callers today. Don, Uncle Brother, Snorky, Dave. I mean, it's been awesome, guys, doing this show. And when I'm tired and I don't want to get up, it's you, all of yous who get me up to go do this. So thank you so much. We're going to continue working on the show. All the links down below to help out are there. I love you all. We'll see you soon. Until next time, peace.